My fascination with animals truly knows no bounds. When I saw a mouse deer in person for the first time at the age of 24, I fell to my knees and wept like a child. And then I had to stand back up because it was a raised enclosure, so I couldn't really see. Anyone who possesses a healthy hyperfixation will remind you, however, that Rome wasn't built in a day. And it's true. The bricks for my public mouse deer meltdown took decades to place. You could argue, in fact, that the first bricks laid were largely responsible for my being where I am today. Similar to most boys who were 13 years old in 2013, I had a YouTube channel that no one legitimately watched, but everyone made fun of. I'm going to be vulnerable right now and show that to you.
Hello everyone, my name is Dr. Hedgesloth and welcome back to the Green Chair Spot. What are we doing today? That is a very good question. Now, before you jump to any conclusions, let's take a guess. No guessing.
Let's skip the insults and get right to the facts. The name of my channel was Dr. Hedgesloth. If you consider the context of what I've been talking about so far, that is a rather obvious combination of hedgehog and sloth, my two favorite animals at the time. The doctor part, I just thought that sounded cool and gamer. Despite opening myself up to a potentially excessive amount of scrutiny, my love for those animals was effectively what gave me the confidence I needed to put myself out there. I resonated with them in a way that allowed me to take on almost another personality. I understand personas now. Wow. I learned something today. So yeah, there are layers to this shit. Yeah, you don't just wake up one day having encyclopedic knowledge about the Beast of Bray Road, okay? Especially if you haven't even looked into the Bear Lake Monster. I mean, come on. What do you mean, what am I talking about? In 2008, after 12 years of service, Animal Planet, noticing dwindling viewership, decided to rebrand, focusing on more mature topics that would emphasize, quote, aggressive and predatory portrayal of animals. This to me sounds like someone very high up at the network got their feelings hurt very badly in some kind of situation involving animals, because holy hell, what a betrayal. Feelings aside, I'm all for a rebrand when necessary, but raising your target age demographic when your channel isn't even old enough for a bar mitzvah, that sounds like a recipe for disaster. Yes, it brought us unforgettable classics like River Monsters and Whale Wars, but sprinkled in between were much more frightening shows like Monsters Inside Me and Your Worst Animal Nightmares. That one was just a show where people talked about their experiences of being brutally mauled by various animals. No moral lessons or anything like that, just pure terror. Let's go. It was all fine enough though. At the end of the day, no one was getting hurt. And to be fair, the shows were educational. Until they weren't.
There are creatures science refuses to recognize. But new technology makes us question what is real. If our eyes see it,
Come on!
if our cameras capture it, does it exist? Enter a realm where fact meets fiction, science meets legend, where nightmares come to life.
Oh my God!
Thanks to lost tapes, what was once a safe haven on sick days had now become dangerous to mix with Benadryl. In this found footage mockumentary style show, viewers could expect to spend each episode learning about cryptids, animals or other beings whose present existence is disputed or unsubstantiated by science. It's a concept that any rational adult can grasp with ease. But remember, I was not an adult when this show came out, nor were a majority of its viewers, so the fake found footage element only made it more terrifying and mass hysteria inducing, especially when posed simply as stories inspired by the possibility of cryptid existence. When you're 8 years old, you don't read between the lines like that. You see the words "viewer discretion advised" on a dark screen and you get ready to shit your pants. To be fair, they don't do much work outside of the introduction screens to let you know what you're about to see is fabricated, so I'm sure after a couple commercial breaks, the occasional stoned adult was falling for this as well. But looking back now, I am shocked that they ever even thought about passing any of this off as legitimate.
I've been patrolling these back roads for a long time, and I've never run across anything like this until that day.
I've seen a lot of mangy coyotes in my day, and that is not a coyote.
That's definitely a coyote. After rewatching all 34 episodes of the show, I can confidently say that not a single episode lacks entertainment value. Season 1, however, contains some particularly daunting material. The very first episode details the story of a Mexican family attempting to cross the US border. Folks, this is an Animal Planet show. When things eventually go wrong on their journey, they're stranded in the desert to die. And the daughter records the whole thing because she just got a sweet new camera for her birthday. Why not? Okay, that's white balance. It's a harrowing tale of the dangers immigrants to the United States may face along their journey. Carefully crafted within the air-conditioned walls of a Los Angeles writer's room. I mean, can you think of a more American nationalist way to tell this story? Having an illegal immigrant family be the victims of a chupacabra attack as they attempt to cross the border? Then, of course, here comes U.S. Border Patrol, our fucking heroes. They know just what to do when it comes to, otherworldly threats.
Okay. What is that noise? Habla español!
The near silent screens of informative text that are intermittently placed throughout the episodes definitely don't help. Sure, they serve to provide helpful context about the environments in which the stories take place, but every now and then they'll throw out an off-color fact or statement that makes you raise an eyebrow. Oh yeah, wonder why. Episode 6 has my favorite example of this. This one talks about cave demons, which are these winged humanoid bat-like creatures. One account also describes them as having eerie feminine features. So I'm assuming that guy was fighting multiple demons. He definitely just didn't want to admit that he found it attractive. Well, I did a decent amount of research on these things, and by decent, I do of course mean the Cryptid fan wiki, because that is the only place that has really any information about a majority of the creatures on this show. Turns out they've supposedly been spotted all around the world. Brazil, Mexico, Vietnam, Cameroon, Senegal, Ghana. You want to know where they've never been spotted? Afghanistan.
In the winter of 2001, U.S. Special Forces led an intense bombing campaign of the Tora Bora cave system. In its aftermath, the military implemented a sophisticated communication system to track enemy movements. But something deep inside the caves was interfering with their surveillance.
They're literally just using the fact that Afghanistan has caves as an excuse to make cave demon war slop. It's nuts, dude. And it's not just any cave. It is specifically the Tora Bora Cave Complex, aka Osama bin Laden's post 9/11 hiding spot, which, if you'll remember, America paid for. Where's the info card about that? In this story, 3 U.S. Marines are sent into the Tora Bora Cave Complex to locate and destroy the source of this interference that they know nothing about. If that's not American, then I don't know what is. It is noted that one of the Marines, Sergeant Ramos, is only days from discharge, meaning we know exactly what's about to go down.
Hey, babe. Yeah, I should be on a plane back in about 3 days. I just gotta go and take care of some things before that, but everything should be fine, and I should be back home with you guys soon.
Anyway, there's a sequence of info screens toward the beginning of the episode that describes the potential threats inside the cave, and it simply reads, Taliban, Al-Qaeda, bats. I just happen to find the implied equal threat level between the Taliban, Al-Qaeda, and bats highly amusing. Who the fuck is writing this and why are they so afraid of bats?
Oh, sorry, is there anything you're not afraid of, man?
What? Come on, man. I joined the Marines to kill terrorists, not deal with bats. I'm afraid of bats.
You're afraid of bats? Imagine what you do.
Whoops. Check it out, guys. Yeah, I just thought my feet were looking pretty cool. Thought my feet were looking pretty cool in these Bombas, the sponsor of today's video. Bombas is making the most comfortable socks in the history of feet, okay? Their words, supported by me. They're focused on really premium material too. This one is made with extra long staple cotton. And I mean, it's not just that. Look at all the other things listed there that's in one sock. How do they do that? You'll notice on this pair I have right here, folks, it says one purchased, one donated. For every pair of Bombas that you buy, another will be donated to someone in need, which I think is really cool. They've successfully donated over 200 million essential clothing items across a network of 4,000 giving partners in all 50 states. They're really just a great premium basic sock, and if you move around a lot, you'll know how quickly socks get worn out. These are gonna last you a really long time. They've also got a 100% happiness guarantee. So they'll give you free returns and exchanges for whatever reason. So like if it doesn't fit, or you know, if it gets stained in the laundry, or gets like put into a paper shredder. That was a weird example. You get it. You can feel good and do good with Bombas, knowing your purchase is doing some real good. And new customers get 20% off their first purchase. Head to the link in the description and use code AndyKing at checkout for 20% off your first purchase. Yeah. All right. Folks, at the end of the day, both of these episodes prove yet again that whether we like it or not, everything is inherently political. They just talked about the Taliban on Animal Planet. But in a show that is arguably best defined by its tropes, Western-centric political views are just one of many. These stories they've crafted are just off the walls insane, dude. A handful of these cryptids I'm half convinced don't even exist. The devil monkey, the monster of Monterey, the Oklahoma octopus. How'd he get there?
All right, we're
You're
just
gonna splash.
Oh, come on, sweetie. Come on.
You know.
Guys!
Yeah.
Did you see that?
See what? What's up? See what? See what, Sean? What? Sean?
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
Hey, what do you mean nothing? You just saw an octopus in Oklahoma. Actually, speaking of that, water is a great example of a trope this show exploits. A heavy percentage of these episodes take place either near or within some kind of body of water. And for the most part, they pull the same bullshit every single time.
Can you please just come back? No! Bruce! Bruce! No! Bruce!
No, I'm about ready to shift you down to there, I'll tell you that.
I will admit that after like the fourth time you watch it play out, it does start to become a bit impressive. You know, love it or hate it, they certainly took a chance on their audience being total fucking fools. You're telling me all these water creatures hunt their prey using the exact same method? And that method conveniently requires minimal effort to film and produce? Let's keep talking about this. If you watch this show upon its release, hoping to catch a glimpse of one of these terrifying creatures in action, you probably found yourself on the other end wondering, how many people am I gonna let lie to my face like this? Because, with the exception of the tentacles of the Oklahoma octopus, the ass of the Megaconda, the hairy hooves of the Jersey Devil, and the Hellhound, which honestly doesn't even really count, that is a well-trained Rottweiler. Not a single cryptid in season 1 or season 2 is shown on camera. And hey, what do you know? It's super annoying.
Take this. If anything come in here, shoot it.
Get the out and get the out. Get the out of here!
When I watch the show about scary monsters, I feel like being able to see the scary monsters shouldn't be too big of an ask, right? It's definitely not a budget thing either. When we finally do get to see some clear shots of the monsters in season 3, one of them, the Devil Monkey, which I'm still convinced was made up for the show, is what appears to be a man in a gorilla suit. Don't worry though, because the very next episode is about the Yeti, which also appears to be a man in a gorilla suit. This time, however, it seems they've soaked it in bleach. It's clear that in general, they were never actually concerned with showing us the cryptids in full detail. And it's proven further in later episodes of the show that introduce testimonials from various cryptozoology experts. Folks, consider this. Why show when you can tell and then show, but it's a shitty Photoshop graphic?
Yetis certainly have been described as upwards of 400 to 800 pounds. They're seen as a massive creature, huge muscles with a height.
I like how they've decided on a visual for the average human as well. Just some fucking guy. The only problem with using a bunch of cryptozoology experts to legitimize the science behind cryptids is the fact that they're cryptozoology experts. In an attempt to avert this issue, the show tactfully intersperses additional out-of-context testimony from real scientists talking about real animals that loosely relate to the cryptid being discussed.
The earliest vertebrates to fly weren't birds, they weren't bats, but they were a group of animals now extinct that were called pterosaurs. During their heyday, they ruled the skies.
Well, that's cool, but this episode is about the Jersey Devil. I guess all in all, they were hoping that the show's audience would find equal interest in the lore of the cryptids, which is valid, but it is extremely difficult to care about any of that at all while witnessing the general insanity of these stories. What lacks in substantial scientific evidence is made up for tenfold by the actors, giving either a career high or career low performance. And there's no in between.
Hi. Dress. Wow, thanks.
Okay, guys, can we exchange MySpace pages later? You want to do this?
You must be Annabelle.
So, Dora, are you ready?
It's Nora, and sure. Sounds like fun.
Fun? Well, that's not quite the word I would have picked.
It is truly a show of endless layers, to the point where they start covering beings that I guess I didn't even realize were cryptids. Aliens? Poltergeist? Zombies? Like, zombies for sure are not cryptids. Like, we know for a fact that they don't exist. People at least question aliens and ghosts and stuff, you know? Vampires, that's another one I'm unsure about. But I am sure about one thing, and that's that I really like the episode. Not because I think it's some great encapsulation of the show. No, I actually find it to be especially odd. Like, all the characters suck, and it makes no sense. But that's kind of my jam, so we're gonna do it.
After losing his job to economic downsizing, Dennis Redding moved his wife, Sarah, and their 9-year-old son, Eddie, into this admitted fixer-upper. He documented the renovations, his footage reflecting their determination to make the best of the situation. Their biggest fear at the time was Eddie adjusting after some potentially dangerous bouts with sleepwalking. But this family would soon discover there was much more to fear inside this old house. These are their tapes.
All right, so this is a rather alarming setup right off the bat. This man is clearly in an active crisis, and his family's along for the ride. From the outside alone, this house appears to be in an unlivable state. I don't know if this is some kind of practical joke, but I think we're moving in a little too early. We learn pretty quickly that the son Eddie likes to spend his time doing two things: walking around with his camera and talking shit to his stuffed animal.
This place is horrible, Ruggles. Girl. Ruggles. What's that?
No way that's a vampire. Meanwhile, Mom's worried about Eddie sleepwalking. She's putting up CCTV cameras around the house in case something live leak worthy goes down. And something does. Would you be super excited if I told you that it's another guy in a suit? Yeah, this vampire, question mark, comes out of the closet and steals Ruggles, which is kind of an odd objective, especially considering the fact that it comes after a bunch of testimonials about the vampire's eternal bloodlust. Kind of feels like he's being as tame as possible.
Among the great characteristics of vampirism is the vampire's need to feed on blood.
I feel like this would all hit a lot harder if he was a classic Dracula-style vampire. Based on the effort this show's put in so far, I'm not sure why they're trying to go for this experimental version that steals children's toys. Anyway, Mom and Dad come into the room to check for monsters, of which they find none. But when Eddie asks to sleep in their room regardless, his dad says no.
Can I sleep in your room now?
No, I don't think it's a good idea.
So someone in this family's getting their shit rocked. Sorry, I don't make the rules, all right? We're already being way too reckless here. The next day, while Eddie searches around the house for Ruggles after finding a trail of stuffing, the father, Dennis, spends his time being a complete asshole to his wife.
Man, this place is worse than I thought. It's just never ending.
Dennis, I'm really worried about Eddie.
Yeah, what's new?
Dennis!
What?
Usually in horror movie situations, this type of behavior is linked to a possession or eventually leads to some kind of explanation. But I can tell you right now, this guy's just a dick. The mother, Sarah, is now concerned that there may be something else wrong with Eddie because she has just discovered Ruggles entirely torn to shreds. For the second time, however, she is concerned about the wrong thing because at this very moment, Eddie is meeting up with a strange man in the basement.
Whoa. You scared the crap out of me.
What are you doing?
Trying to get rid of your vermin.
What's vermin?
Vermin's like squirrels or raccoons or rats or any kind of animal that comes and gets in your house. And the thing is, they carry diseases and they can make you sick. So we want to get them out of here before they do that. This end goes around their neck. And what happens is I sneak up on them, and when I have this around their neck.
Oh, Eddie, why don't we go find Mom? Well, he does that. And guess what happens? Bye-bye, exterminator. But at least now we know we're dealing with wall-dwelling vampires. Feels like they could have told this story in any other way. A bit of family bonding takes place over the next couple hours. This includes Eddie smashing holes in the old walls, which is probably pissing off the wall vampires, and Dennis participating in his favorite activity, being a piece of shit.
When you're dealing with electricity, Eddie, you gotta be really, really careful because if you...
Dad! Dad! It's not funny! What is going on?
Sarah is the only one to notice that the exterminator has been missing for quite some time. So, Dennis enlists Eddie to go check the basement while he checks the attic. He also does so in the most ominous way possible.
All right. Okay, I'll go check up in the attic.
Watch out for raccoons.
Okay. Eddie, go check the basement.
The basement?
Yeah, the basement.
Okay, bye. Love you.
I love you.
Oh, can you take out the trash?
Oh, the trash?
Can you just take out the fucking trash?
There may be some natural medical explanations to explain at least some vampire cases, especially from earlier times when people's understanding of disease and illness was very limited.
The paleness of tuberculosis, the coughing up of blood were symptoms that could easily be equated with traditional vampirism.
Wow, sounds like you guys do not believe in vampires. I mean, to be fair, is it even about vampires at this point? All we've been led to believe, given the context, is that these people have someone living in their walls who hates stuffed animals. You know, at a certain point, you just gotta one-pump the son of a bitch and call it a day. Oh, would you look at that? The hole in the basement wall is now exterminator-sized. Perhaps he's playing a fun game and we should follow him inside. Why is the hand hairy? Like, are we entirely sure the footage from this episode wasn't mismatched with something else? There is a werewolves episode, so it's possible. This whole chase sequence is pretty blurry, as they all are, so you never get a great shot, but there are actually multiple vampires living in this house, and they all look like Walking Dead zombies. They also seem to move on all fours, so I don't know, sky's the limit. What do you want to give them next? Like, maybe give them like laser eyes or something? I don't think I'm wrong in saying that these sequences would benefit from an overly cartoonish vampire in the mix. Like right now, how awesome would it be if during this fight for their life, one of the walls broke open to reveal Adam Sandler Dracula? Come on! Dennis, of all people, is the one who ends up killing the thing, which from a storytelling perspective is cuckoo and bonkers. Not only is he unlikable, he is unlikable. I get it. Telling a story like that in the span of essentially 10 minutes is no easy feat. But do me a favor, kill that guy next time. Despite the utter shenanigans that each episode brings, the ending narration insists that the evidence brought forward in these tapes is nothing short of damning, forcing us to endlessly ask the question, do they live among us? As a child, I certainly thought so. Look, I can sit here and make fun of this show all day long, but it doesn't change the fact that at the time of its release, it had me scared shitless. I remember watching that Chupacabra episode around the time it came out and thinking it was a story on the local news. Straight up. That's the thing about this style. It was simultaneously so ahead of its time and of its time. And whether production intended that, that's up in the air. But it can't be denied that this is truly one of the most unique television shows to come out of the early 2000s. All we have to do now is, hey, wait for that soulless reboot. Until that day comes, I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you enjoyed it so much, I hope that you'll like, comment, subscribe, and tell me what you want to see next time. There's also a form in my description area. Never told you guys this verbatim, but you can suggest videos on a form that I have. So you fill out the form. As much as I wish I had more content for you today, that was a lot of television. But until next time, all right.
Will people know I'm joking?
Yeah, people will know.
Can you put this at the end so people know?
Yeah, people will know it's a joke. People will know it's a joke. Okay. People will know it's a joke. Okay.
Okay, bye. Bye.
Okay, bye.
Oh, can you take out the trash?
The trash? Yeah. No, that was exactly it.